Alright, so I did something this past weekend that I've been wanting to do for a while. You know, it's not really a new bike, it kind of is to me. Anyways. It's Susie's new and improved look. Got some Warp 9 Elite Supermoto wheels on there. Michelin Pilot Power tires. I think they're the CT2s. The reason I went with the Supermoto wheels, I know I've said in the past, like, I really like the dual sport aspect of it, but in all reality, I ride Susie more on the road than I do on trails. And the Dunlop D606s that are on her dirt tires or wheels, the stock ones that came with it, they're wearing down. They're not bald, but they're definitely wearing down. And this is something that I wanted to do ever since I found out that this DRZ400 Supermoto was a thing. So I got these. And I love them. They're pretty brand new. I put them on 5 days ago. Maybe, yeah, 5 days ago. So what I got was a blue hub for the wheels, white spokes, black spoke nipples, and blue rims. And it's kind of obvious why I went with that color combination, because blue is the predominant color on this bike, and then there's not too much white, but quite a bit of white. And then there's just a little bit of black here and there. Most of it I've added, but like the mirrors, fork boots, seat, exhaust, just little accents. So this bike has come a very long way from when I first got it. When I first got it, it has 300 miles on it. Practically right off the factory line. The guy that I bought it off of had a dealership go through it and basically bring it out of mothball status because he didn't write it. So it's a 2007 DRZ400S that had 310 miles on it when I bought it. So some modifications, I might as well go down this list. I've done Thumpertalk case savers, because I don't want to puncture the case, so that'd be bad. I've got Acerbis X-Factor handguards. That was more of a trail thing, but it works here too. You can see I've scuffed them up a little bit just all the times I've dropped Susie on the trails or had to lay her down. But they're built to take it. Nothing else gets damaged. There's a little bit of scratches here, but that's just from trees. I'd rather my mirrors get scratched up than my hands. Other than those, she's pretty much the way she was. Oh yeah, I got a Moose Racing skid plate because the factory one doesn't cover your case. I got an AltRider header guard right here. Protect the header. I know someone with a DRZ, they have a big dent right here. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to cover up the header, just because it's exposed. Obviously, it's not going to save it if I land on a boulder, but If I land on a boulder right there, I'm doing something I probably shouldn't be doing. But yeah, this is my DRZ400S Supermoto converted. I got the 320 or 310 rotor on there, the oversized rotor. Caliper adapter bracket is a pain in the butt to get on. And then for the rear, the Warp 9 rotor. They're very broken in, so they don't whine. I think we'll go take this out on the streets, go take it up that little twisty section I've been on before, and we'll see how it does. Okay, so one thing I forgot to mention was the rear sprocket. I went with a 42 tooth rear sprocket. I kept my stock front sprocket. I think that's a 15 tooth. The reason I went with a 42 tooth sprocket instead of like the 41 of the DRZ400 Supermoto or a 40 for higher speed is because I'd heard and read that the DRZ400S is, I want to say it's a 45 rear sprocket, is very similar to the 42 on a Supermoto. And I like the way the DRZ400S feels with its low end torque, but it can still get up to pretty high speeds without being too buzzy. So that's what I have on here. I might try a 41 tooth sprocket or a 42 sprocket later on. But this actually gets into a higher, not RPM range, but like on my dirt setup, you have to be going, you don't have to, but I shift into 4th gear around 35 and 5th gear, let's see, 5th gear around 40, I want to say. But with this, I don't shift. I had to see, I just forgot what I was, or the RPM ranges to shift into. I think it's off. I think it's like, depending on the gear you're in, like 1 or 3 to 5 miles per hour difference from the S setup, which I think is nice because I get a little bit more top end out of it without getting into the buzzy range. Now as for the install of this Supermoto conversion kit, I had to deadlift the bike because it fell off the stupid stand, which was not very fun. So what happened was, my dad and I put Susie on the stand. At some point, it had shifted forwards enough to where when I removed the front wheel, it wasn't shifted forward so much that it jammed the front wheel up when I was removing it, but it was far enough forwards that when I removed the front wheel, the dirt one, it actually fell, and I caught it right before the forks hit, and that was probably the least fun I've had working on a motorcycle or a car to date, just because of how heavy this thing is. Susie weighs like somewhere around the 400-pound mark, a little bit lighter. And there goes my mirror. Okay, I'm gonna finish up the story. She weighs almost 400 pounds. And you can imagine all that weight, or not all of it, but a lot of that weight being on the handlebars where I'm holding it. I've got my knees kind of helping too, so it wasn't the full brunt of the load on my back. So that was probably a smart move by myself, but it made me not want to work on the bike the rest of that night. The only other problem I had was putting the front brake caliper on. And that one was just a little bit of finagling. I had to put well, we didn't have to, but we put a paper towel around the rim and then put a rag around that. The last thing I wanted to do was scratch the anodized finish on my rim. Be careful with this front brake. But other than that, install was pretty much bolt right on. Gravel. Let's see how these tires do on a jump. That was a lame jump. Dang it, that kid's back on his bike. As for the feel of these, they definitely don't have that luggy feeling of the knobs when you're going slow. Let's go up here. Which I think was one of the biggest things that I disliked about my dirt tires. They were also Dunlop D606s versus the factory Death Wings. I'll get some lean action in. But when you would go really slow, you kind of have that like dunk 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 because it's alternating knobs of the dirt tires, and it would actually kind of steer you a bit. If you're going slow. because it would offset wheel a bit and then offset it again. With this, I don't have that problem. I actually have my second camera mount on, as you probably already saw. I can't predict the future in editing. Another modification that I did to this with the Supermoto setup, I made the front forks a little bit stiffer. Mouth gears. I made the front forks a little bit stiffer, adjusted like the rebound and compression based on the Supermoto high speed settings. And then I adjusted the rear. So I adjusted that, and I adjusted the rear shock based on the high speed settings as well, because I know that the DRZ400 SM has inverted forks. I don't know how big of a difference they make, because I have not personally ridden on a DRZ400 Supermoto. So anywho, I don't know how long this video is, but that's my DRZ400S converted into a Supermoto. If you guys like what you see, want to see more, hit that like button and that subscribe button, and also hit my Instagram, because there's some other things, there's other projects that I post on there, little bits and pieces of stuff, so that might be also worth looking into if you're into bike builds and that type of thing. But until next time, this is Dr. Zed, out.